Okay, I had to stop because my battery needed to charge. That might be relevant as well. Stop because your battery needs to charge. But having said switching from your ancestors to somebody else's ancestors, knowing that, well, anyway, it's making me think to a timeline where Capricorn was connected to Libra energy, and Libra had a jealous ancestor that was affecting Capricorn. But then I find out what's going on in the Libra Nakshatras, which are Swati and, they say Chitra, but actually if you get the true and even zodiac, then Chitra is completely inside of Virgo. There's Chitra star, Spica, and there's Chitra Nakshatra. And that's where absolutely there's there's the idea of the ideal. Chitra carries the beautiful picture energy. That's what Chitra means. And so by design, everything, Chitra Gupta is the keeper of the Akashic records. He was created for that. I've got plenty to say about that. So in terms of these ideals that have been set for us, and going against those ideas, same in that nakshatra is the forbidden path. What caught me, I turned the deck over as I put it down in order, because I had to go charge the battery. So yeah, we have this whole institutional energy. If we take what I was saying right before I checked it, which was the whole point, switching teams, or realizing that you were always on somebody else's team, not your own ancestral team. I'm sure you have some ancestors who are wholeheartedly on board with you and fighting the good fight, but I'm totally, what's underneath that? Safe passage in reverse. The moon in reverse. Yeah, wow, that's some divine timing there. Okay, oh my god. Okay, so look at the story that's under here. Okay, yep, so I have to pause again, because my kid was coming through. So clearly, like, here we have your 10 Pentacles, Capricorn. This is, Capricorn extends beyond this, but let's just set, well, no, it doesn't. Okay. The story that you are, if we compare it all to Nakshatra energy, overriding theme of Capricorn is the story that you're here to tell, the bigger picture. The bigger picture. I probably already said that. This is totally carrying that energy. I brought these cards in between shots because I'm going to put them over here with this energy. But something like the whole situation not working out, part of the bigger story, this collaboration, this manifestation, this, see, and I've got the Magician in reverse, somebody manipulating, again, somebody manipulating, probably, given the theme we're on, from the other side, shutting you down, because we've got that wish fulfillment ahead of it in reverse. Those 9 cups. Not that we have 9 cups, but we do have 7 cups. Your own energy, the truth. For me, in this, in my Tattoo Tarot deck, this is my Kali card. Kali. So I'm fairly fond. This is where you get. This is usually where you find the truth. Like we have the inversion, right? Of a Lover's card, which you already know. Yeah, I feel like we just have, like, this feels so connected, like it's just one after the other until I hit there, and then I feel, we do have a 6 there, and a King of Wands knowing the direction. Yeah, and then it starts to fade, right? So it's, as long as I'm feeling there's like a boom, boom, boom energy, then I follow it. I could even say it wants to take you to these 6 Wands, of course, which would bring us into the Maga energy, the Leo, fiction writing energy again, the stage. symbol of a stage in Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Mastering the six senses as well. But yes, this bigger picture. So what, yeah, okay. All right. I feel like I feel like we've got where we can go with the tarot. These 5 wands. I'm going to get this, well, I'll keep those cards. Well, no, okay. Bringing me back to this King of Wands. Because the King of Wands, of course, oh, silly me, silly me, silly me. Oh, God, there's so much major arcana right there. Wow, okay. Yes, so much of this is charted. This is the bigger story. This is it. This is it. There's nothing else. Everything else in your life is being driven by this. Like, this is your chart. This is your chart. And basically the Magician reversed with this Power reversed God. Okay, so because of course we want to know the King of Wands. King of Wands is underneath all of this. So all of these... Taurus energy connects to Kritika Nakshatra, Rohini Nakshatra, and Mrigashira Nakshatra. The mothers, the Pleiades, an adoptive energy, the adoptive mothers, the wet nurses, shall we say. That's who the Pleiades, okay. And the oldest, actually the oldest star story, going back. Well, the oldest star story connected to the Pleiades, known as the Seven Sisters in Africa, because long enough ago, the seventh star was easily discernible. 2 of the stars are so close together now, that's why you get a Six Sisters story as well. Now, you can't find the oldest star story easily. They reference it in articles and they won't tell you what it is. I actually had a client, Indian but Ugandan, and pushed out of Uganda, of course, during that push, during the Idi Amin push, which was controlled by Masons. Obviously, he was a puppet. And we know who his handler was. But she had a warning. There's Seven Sisters Falls, there's Seven Sisters area, and it connects to Kenya. I got into this back in Taurus house, studying it. So I'm just thinking for a second, because there's something about the adoptive energy there. There was a family curse on her. 7 connects to the Great Mother. It's the number that they use it's in the square and compass is actually a 7. I need to give Natural Tahuti and Mama Zogbe. I need to give Nathan Howard. He's now in prison on false drugs and murder charges, to get him, to silence him. You can find his appeal on justia.com from 2018. But he has a YouTube channel, Natural Tahuti, and he was helping Mama Zogbe. Of course, that's her spiritual name. Get the word out about the Great Mother. And he has videos on his channel where he revealed what the Masons truly worship, well, what they harness, and they harness the Great Mother's energy. And that's what the square and compass and the G is all about. And next thing you know, just like Malcolm. Ooh, Malcolm, don't talk about the oil tycoon in Texas who pays for the Nation of Islam and the KKK. H.L. Hunt. But anyway, and I've got that thanks to Omar Shabazz. Shabazz Productions. Yeah, there's just, okay, so we're sitting on top of the truth here. We're sitting on top of the absolute truth. Wow. Which you would expect as Capricorn. So the point being, where does the flame come from? Where does the flame come from? Okay. I feel like I was asked to, well, I try to let her speak through me a lot of the time. That's what Kali likes to do. She likes to take over. It's still me, but you know, when she appeared to me, it's more than a lucid dream, and it was a shamanic thing, but she stood over me in bed. I was late afternoon. I know if I go for a late afternoon nap, it doesn't happen often. And the weather's a certain way, I know that it's just a journey. All black eyes. I thought she was, for 8 months, I thought she'd been a demon, and I was like, how the hell did a demon breach everything that I am? I'm so self-possessing that, you know, and then I assumed that I needed to become stronger. And this was just before I said yes. That's partly why I said yes, within a couple of months, to stepping into the power rather than getting pushed around by it. But she took this really rough looking egg, very dark and knobbly and like grotesque, right? And she split it in half, and it was all red on the inside, basically like blood, right? I made myself snap out of the experience with not much longer after that. She handed one to me and pushed the other one into her body. And that was after the dismemberment part, which I only found out, yeah, this past year. That's a shamanic thing. So, so her half of her heart, right, and the egg and everything that an egg symbolizes, she split between her and me, and I'm sure she does that with others as well. But so I am me, but I am also her. There's something like that is there something like that that's going on right now? Because these 7 cups, this Scorpio thing, it's all tied to that kind of closeness to the other side. Okay, let's get into the Freedom card before, you know, we spend 5 hours on this reading, because I know you'll stick around for 5 hours. Let's see here. Let's get Mel. I just want to, let me check one thing for a moment here. This is one of my charts. I have 2 versions, and you can see this one is set to my first house. I look for the gaps. It's a complex process I use to narrow, and I also use, this one's too faint, I need to deepen them, but I can tell, I also edit the images so that different parts of the image fall on different placements and stuff. I don't try to manipulate, I just try to see what fits, right? And that also, believe it or not, tells you more, affirms more, and tells you more. And then I look for where these gaps are, because those are the missing pieces. That's what I found working with them. So I do, that's the pure tarot version, and then there's a mixed well, it's all astrological, but sometimes so many visuals are too many visuals, yes? So I use a double house system, because I find the whole house system tells you what your state of being is, and the uneven house system tells you how it plays out in your life. The chain of events. That's what I've found. I think I'm primarily a mathematician, and I really stick to numeracy accuracy. So when they bring numerology into this and apply numerological principles and then fudge them to serve their manipulations, I come in, I'm like, wait, no, because that means you've got one rule book for you and one rule book for everybody else. Same old, same old. That's why uneven zodiac. So up here, this is the Sidereal. All of Shravana, Nakshatra, and then we have the first 2 Pada, the first half of Dhanishta. Nakshatra. So just to give you an idea, I made all my notes on this older chart that isn't set correctly because it still has an even zodiac. But what did I say? The last three of Uttara? Is that what I said? Yep. There we have in shorthand. In my shorthand, this might not be completely relevant, but if you go to vidyamitra.com, so innovators, social capitalists, so to speak, like people that want to build and at the same time do it preferably ethically, yes, and for everybody's sakes, yes. Managers, and that can mean in a very broad sense, like very bold, broad sense, not just a dead end management. So I think managers, like I think the world of an awesome manager. They are miracle workers, right? So, then in Shravana we get into, I'm going to turn it around, conceptualists. Speakers, singers, picture makers, and this all-powerful energy. So huge manifestors. So all this code work. All the code work. The facilitators and then the coders. And then in Danishta, yeah, manifesting, networkers. Manifestors and networkers. So that's the energy I'm looking at in my shorthand for those nakshatras for you. So with this goal-oriented energy, of course it depends. You want to figure out what the aspects are to that energy in Capricornus, yes? Okay. All right. Freedom. This is, I'll hold the card up. This is Mel's deck. I have all of her decks, almost all of them. There's a new one that I don't have that I want. And I want her runes, but I think I can't get them yet from Australia. And this is Mel. The most powerful person, I would say, absolutely. You want a shaman, witch, total, what she's doing in the world right now probably makes all the difference for everybody. Not that there aren't so many people doing that, but hers is so targeted. Specifically, like, it's just, I can't, anyway, shut up, Kristen, and just prove the point. Okay. Freedom. How does this fit in? What does it want to add? Hold it back so you can see the whole thing in focus. There we go. Get the shadow out of the way. Your sense of freedom only comes from feeling content within yourself. Freedom is about being able to make decisions in your life without the constraints that hold you back. Freedom is subjective and can vary for each person. For what is freedom to one person may not be for another. Yes. Yep. Don't forget, we can all find our freedom in some form or another, from a walk in the bush to quieting your mind in a beautifully calming meditation. Freedom is within everyone's grasp, but firstly, work out what your freedom is. Okay, that's part A. You've worked so hard to get to this point where the end is in sight. The end grants you the freedom you've so desperately wanted in your life. Okay, so she's saying it does bring it. There were times when you thought this would never end, but here you are. It's a little scary when things finally come to a close, as getting to this point has taken a great deal of sacrifice and energy on your part. However, you have been determined and committed to finalizing the situation and should recognize the strength and courage you have expended to get here. Don't be scared of beginning anew, as the future is filled with so many great prospects. The universe is waiting for you to step into your newfound power, granting you the future you dream of. All right, so let's just take a moment here. Thank you. I want to say, obviously, her ancestors are on your side. And I don't know what's better. I don't know what's better than that, really, with everything they've been through. I know so many people on this earth have suffered, and I'm the wrong skin color. But I came in this color, and I'm making the most of what I can do from the insider perspective of it. I don't know how many times I've been here before. I don't know how many times we've all been here before, and we have to change colors however often, but the fear. This could certainly speak to the fear. This brings fear. This brings fear. All these fives bring fear. This being up against it, absolutely, this speaks of fear. Even all of this uniqueness speaks of fear. Needing the key speaks to fear. Nine of Swords speaks to fear. Proving yourself to everyone. And then anchoring yourself in that. I think really right now what we're looking at is this anchor. Which brings that 8 of Strength. The 7 of Cups, definitely. 7 of Cups reversed. Wondering who is on your side. How many things? There's probably a lot of things. This King of Wands, these clouds with King of Wands with these clouds, the clouds that the gift of the 6. The gift of the 6. Even if it all appears to be going backwards. Even if it all appears to be going backwards. Do not give in to doubt. The 7's backwards. Those clouds, the clouds of the 7 cups. That's the clouds that they're talking about. Wrong deck. Where did I put it? Right here. Let's get those clouds out. Okay. So those clouds are specific. Awesome. Thank you. Now, you can tell that I had to cut again because my son came home. So there are these breaks. Did I just go past the 7 cups? There they are. Okay. Not that you don't know the 7 cups card, but there we go. So the King of Wands with these clouds, the clouds that are going backwards, because the 7 of Cups are backwards. Yeah. Yep. They're backwards on purpose because the Backbuild, most spiritual card. Yes, the Ace of Swords. The Truth. So, squaring off with, look at this, Capricorn. Never fails. Spark inside. Live deliberately, choose boldly, then you have arrived. And that's all about, Aries is all about arrival. Not rivals, but arriving. Squaring off. Okay. Now, we've come a long ways. We have a 10 of completion here, like I said. Wait a minute. There isn't a Mars. Okay, when she Does a planetary position for reading for these cards. She doesn't include Mars, and I keep forgetting she doesn't include Jupiter. Interesting. Susan Shepard that created these cards. Normally I'll read out a paragraph, each paragraph for this card. But I'm wondering if that is an overwhelm right now. I'll do it and then I'll see if I keep editing it in. Because obviously if I don't, it's the 4th time, for God's sake, that they've handed me this card. Alright, so that Nigeria energy, but so many people's from there. But clearly, yeah, like this is all this Scorpio, these Scorpio clouds and these roots, so it's all switching up. It's switching up, and so the attacks, you've been under such heavy attack this past year. Such heavy attack. And it's been from, I mean, yeah, the all-seeing eye, great devil. Great architect devil. And his team. The team. Which every culture, every country has been affected, has been infiltrated. So it's not just, I mean, it's led by the Great White Brotherhood. But there's the Boule. I mean, every country. Every country. Okay. So every skin color has, they have a slave system in every country. Okay. From like all walks of every rung of the ladder. Okay. So let's maybe what I'll do. Why am I hesitating? Let's do this first. We've got the backstory. Because this reading is, like it's pulling it all in, for sure. I said we'd get another wild one in. Wow, look how slick that was. Look how slick that was. And face down, face down over here over the necessary change, the 5s. Okay, I'll put this up. Oh yeah, that fabulous writing on the rock. Like a marker. Grace carries you home at the end of, again, end of your efforts. When your resources are exhausted and you're without further recourse, I'm there for you with loving wild grace to carry you home. What comes before that? Ace of Wands, the 10 of Wands. Wow, okay. Because you don't know. Okay, so we've got fear, possibly. Yes, because the power shift. And these resources, the clouds are tied to the resources. Yes, obviously. And it came out on the... God, I'm so slow. Sorry. It came out on the 5. It costs a lot to get to the truth. Because prison planet, they don't want us to know. So there has to be an investment from us to fight, to get to our help, to get to the truth. To get to the truth. To get past this. Where there isn't safe passage. All of this story, this journey, takes the whole deck. I when I was in your house astrologically, I'll show you in a second, but I figured out, I've got videos up here in the Astrology series. You can use the whole deck. That's how I figured out that Capricorn is the story, the bigger story of your life. Use the whole deck, working forwards and backwards in time. Use 4 decks actually to chart, to translate your whole chart into a tarot story, moving backwards and forwards with God working in both directions and the devil working in both directions. And by setting it up for storytelling, then you can find out what your core trigger is. Using Capricorn as the center point. It's too much to try to explain, but that was part of my Capricorn 10th house experience. That's what they led me to develop and understand and discover. Not develop, but okay. So I hesitate. This is a lot to get into, but there's something in there. It is a lot to get into. It's been a lot that you've been through. This is